Hello and welcome back to The Quiet Part. Approximately 1 week ago, I made the horrible mistake. I was on YouTube, I watch YouTube, I make videos on YouTube here. I made the mistake of realizing that the White House, like the highest part of the American government, of the executive branch, the center of where all this politics crap is happening, the White House has an official YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I took a look at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get subscribed. And I think it was a week or two ago that I got subscribed to the White House YouTube channel, which can be a good choice. And it is a kind of good tool for staying informed. That was until I started noticing what was actually popping up in my subscription feed. And then I noticed stuff like this. One Big Beautiful Bill Lo-Fi MAGA video to relax/study too. I think this got put up like an hour ago. And I, in my personal life, like outside of YouTube, have been clowning on this so hard. And it's not just this. There's so much I want to talk about regarding what goes on in the official White House YouTube channel and the degree to which it is so dystopian that, like, I don't even know if it's funny dystopian or if it's just like creepy, scary dystopian. This YouTube channel, like that, this is it. This is the official one. It is so off-putting. Let me give you some examples of what I mean. We're going to click into their videos and we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that they've been getting up to recently. Oh my God. Okay, fine. That's occupying the entire screen, so I'll start there. I think this is kind of when I decided I wanted to make this video. These, I'm laughing, I'm smiling, but like this is insane. These are obviously a bunch of founding fathers, and founding mothers, and just general important people that were there at the beginning of what the government and nation and state that is the United States of America. These are all true founding fathers. We've got John Adams and Benjamin Franklin and all these people. And like you see this, right? And you, reasonable person, you expect like, oh, these are going to be like little 1-minute short life summary documentaries on these founding fathers. That's like totally innocuous. There's nothing unusual or dystopian about that. Guess what happens when you click them? All right, I'm just going to choose, I want to choose someone I specifically don't know so I can put on display things that I don't know. I can't remember who it was I did. I've never heard of Elbridge Gary. Maybe I'm going to learn something. So let's click into this and see what I mean. Look! Okay, that's cool. Maybe this is an animation. This is not an animation.
Revolutionary.
These are, what is that, like 20 or 15? It's a giant batch that they all uploaded at once. So like my subscription feed, I'm like scrolling through like normal. And I'm like having a normal day, la-di-da, and then it's just like white man, slave owner jump scare. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? These are not like animations that they paid some fucking United States-based animation studio for. These are all AI-generated talking portraits of the of different founding fathers and American historical figures that contributed to American folklore and mythology, the sort of state mythology. And I mean,
I was nearly seized at Monotony Tavern.
I think this could get by like a mom on Facebook, but like anyone else who knows AI animated art, this is so weird and off-putting and creepy. And then there's a million things to talk about how like you could have just paid an American animator. And instead you're quite literally using the tools that everyone are pointing out are used for this exact sort of thing. There are probably so many historical autism animators out there that would have fucking loved to be commissioned by the fucking White House. And instead they put out these dog shit. Look at them when they're moving.
Instead be tied to a quote, I still believe.
Isn't it just wrong?
It is the duty of every man, though he may have
so like something about the eyebrow movements and the dead eyes and it's just wrong. Like there's no humanity behind this. I am not a pro AI art person. I might like machine vision and some things about that technology. I do not like AI art because it just fundamentally creepy. That's what it is to me. It's creepy. Not like human art can't be creepy in a similar way, but this is creepy by virtue of its limitations, not as an art form. Okay, so it's one thing to see like all of these animated. Here's what happens if you watch to the end. I'm not gonna learn who Elbridge Gary is. Look at what happens at the end. Look at this. I might have to move my head so you can see. This is insane. Oh my God, I'm covering it. One sec. Look at the reveal. Brought to you by PragerU. This is insane. PragerU, like, yeah, okay, like you could have told me like, oh, the Trump administration is at some point gonna partner with the propaganda that is the alt-right. PragerU or Prager University, which are a well-known oh my God, what does this say? Look what they had to put at the bottom. The White House is grateful for the partnership with PragerU and U.S. Department of Education in the production of this museum. This partnership does not constitute or imply the U.S. government or U.S. Department of Education's endorsement of PragerU. You still fucking used them. This is... What do you say to this? Like, PragerU? Like literally, it would have been like putting at the end of this, like, sponsored by Alex Jones. This is like just insane. So like, I see this and I'm like, oh, the White House has lost it. Like, it's gonzo. It's completely like just, the White House is just a tool of propaganda, which it is. It always has been. That's like part of it. But it's another thing to just publish 30 AI videos of founding fathers that are sponsored and produced in partnership with PragerU. It's satire of itself. The U.S. is just its own joke. But this isn't all. For a while now, they've been publishing videos like this here at the bottom. They've been publishing these short and sweet, highly corporate feeling videos that are advertising propaganda for the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which is going to be a big part of what I want to talk about right now about this channel. And I just want to clown on how weird this is. Look at this. So like, let's just watch the whole thing. It's only 23 damn seconds. Just watch it with me. Everything is slightly off-putting, and I'm starting to build a crackpot hypothesis. Like I think that some of these videos are being made with AI. I think some of them might be directed by AI. I think some of the music that we might hear later is definitely AI. And then there are these weird ass brand sponsorships, like this fucking Google Pixel Watch charging dock or whatever, and there's like, what is that, a fucking NFL ring or class ring or something, and then like the stapler brand is almost visible, and it's just, one, these completely fucking lack like all human touch, and they feel like a dystopian void of like post everything America, just post disaster America, post dystopia America. Everything just doesn't look good. I'm gonna throw this up to the 1080. I've been wanting to kind of like pixel peep a bit and like get a vibe for what I'm looking at. Yeah. And like, I don't know, the bokeh on that lady, it looks real. Like, I think this is real. I mean, Coke is in it. Not that they haven't definitely used AI before. The reflections, yeah, they've got this whole, especially as someone who makes videos, like I can tell that they're trying to make corporate level cinematic videos to sort of quickly get out the word about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which increases the military budget by $150 billion, which the original version, which we will never let Republicans forget this, we'll never let Democrats forget this because they're fucking letting this bill getting through. American people should never let the entire American government forget that the first version of this bill was going to make it so that the federal courts couldn't hold the executive branch accountable and always had to let them pay their way out of breaking the law. We're never going to let them fucking forget that. That is no longer in the bill after the process it's gone through. So this is one of these. The audio might be AI. The parts of the video might be AI. I'm not sure if all of it is. That's the one I saw before. And I saw these ridiculous AI animated portrait things. let's look at some more, and I just want you to see my live fucking reaction to this shit, because it's so dystopian. It's so weird. It's not unusual for politicians and political groups to make ads, but something about these like 20-second brain rot, just kind of garbage videos. There we go. Sure. Right, and they're using the YMCA song, and they just did the eagle screech in the background. What the fuck is this? So, and like, I talked about this on my video. I talked about this in my live stream, where I need to shut the fuck up about it. But I care about this bill because I read all 1,038 pages of its original format when it first passed the House of Representatives. I know what's in this bill. Correct, there is no tax on tips. There is no tax on overtime. There's a $150 billion increase in the military budget. There's like a $50 billion increase to the border wall and immigrations and customs enforcement, who have been kidnapping motherfuckers out the damn street. There was a moratorium on all laws regulating artificial intelligence, which ties in perfectly to the use of this bullshit. The document is filled with some of the most disgusting and obvious oligarchical things I've ever seen. It's like this idea when I was younger of like, you know, people talking about like, you know, the man, the man, they're in power, and there's a bunch of wealthy people at the top, and we're not even invited to the party. That's not a joke. Like, that's just their policies. The bill was horrifying and disgusting. Let's look at some more of these. The One Big Beautiful Bill unleashes economic growth. What I love about these, and I can't tell if these are AI. If these are really good AI, it could totally pass me. But what I'm noticing is they've got really good dynamic range. The color grading is good. Like, these are cinematic little short videos. So what is this? Good service. Oh, this, again, no tax on tips, right? I think this is real. Let's look at these dollar bills. That sort of thing, like that while moving, is something that like this couldn't keep up with typically. I don't think it's AI. I think this is real, man. But in an odd meta commentary about AI, it's like it's just as creepy. So like it's just as off-putting and uncanny valley of like the people behind this are not real people. Interesting, very interesting. Yep, the White House, man. So it's just their propaganda is in. They're rolling, and obviously, if you don't know, I mean, today is Sunday, June 29th, I believe. Donald Trump wants the One Big Beautiful Bill Act to finish being in the Senate, where it is currently right now. It's currently in debate as of today. The entire 1,000 pages of it, post-parliamentarian. There was a parliamentarian person who did some revisions to it before it could even touch the Senate. The Senate voted 51-49 to start debates on it, and next they need a 51 to pass it, which will then open it up to filibuster and more possible revisions. Or if they somehow magically get 60 votes out of 100, it'll just auto pass without revisions up to the point it's currently at. Donald Trump wants it signed on his desk by July 4th. He wants it to happen on Independence Day. And you can tell that they're fucking desperate. And here's the thing. This is on the YouTube channel. I don't know who else this is going out to. I don't know who this is being shared with. I don't know if people are seeing this on... Are y'all seeing this on TV? I don't watch TV. Let's keep watching this. Hey, this is when I could start talking about, like, the extent to which these are the lying kind of propaganda, and then the extent to which that these are the persuasive kind of propaganda, no matter how indoctrinatory and fucked up. On paper, the Big Beautiful Bill doesn't really do much to touch Social Security. They're not particularly wrong, but not touching Social Security has been like a base default for America for like 20 years. Because if you touch Social Security, old people will burn your house down. Old people fucking vote. So this isn't noteworthy or new, saying Social Security serenity, courtesy of the One Big Beautiful Bill. That's not new. Now, I don't know the full details because beyond having read the entire bill word for word, I don't know the budget inferences. I've heard lots of things talking about how there's a lot of new regulations that are coming in for Medicare and Medicaid. That's going to fuck over old people. Bad, especially poor old people. but I haven't heard much about Social Security. But the funding gap that the bill leaves because of its ridiculous increases to the most bullshit things you could imagine, the funding gaps it leaves could very well mean that Social Security will run out of money, I think, by the 2030s. So, I don't know, man. Increasing the federal budget by like, what, 2.4 trillion or some bullshit. Maybe we'll pull it up towards the end of this video. Let's keep reading this. Respects the hustle. Is this more? Oh, this is no tax on overtime. Right. I should probably start like full screening these so you can see them better. Ooh, could this one be AI? It's a lot softer than the previous one. Oh, and her face looks unusual. No disrespect to the lady. This kind of almost looks like it was a stock asset that was like green screened in or something. The audio design seems super artificial. And I don't mean AI, I just mean bad. Coming from someone who never does audio engineering in my own videos. Oh yeah. Oh my god, why are those clacks added in post? Are these fucking stock videos? Oh, why is the audio so bad? Why can I hear like outdoor business noises and we're in an office space? Whatever. These videos are so weird. Something is going on, and it's just unusual and creepy, and I don't know what's going on. All right, let's do a couple more of these. I'm not reading Daddy's Home. Jesus, you know what? Fuck it. Sure. Attends the NATO summit. Keeps American communities safe. How? Oh, by funding the Coast Guard, maybe? They did fund the Coast Guard. I can't really watch any of this. Yeah, sorry, YouTube will murder me. Okay, so they're using the meme song. I know they're funding the shit out of Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard does do a lot of services that affect coastal communities and are related to safety as opposed to policing. So let's see if that's what this is a reference to. Sound of a secure... Oh, no, that's not what I was thinking it was at all. The sound of a secure border. You know, yeah, you can't see it that well anyway. The sound of a secure border, courtesy of the one big beautiful bill act. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put me up here for the rest of this. Oh my god, the sound of a secure. What the fuck is this gonna do? You think I can't surf around that? Whatever. Listen, I just want to remind you that there was a couple of provisions in the Big Beautiful Bill when they were talking about border security and the Department of Interior and the Department of Homeland Security, and then Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and Border Patrol. There was a section where they were talking about using AI to like track people at the border, and that's just more dystopia. That was in this. So yes, you're saying the sound of a secure border, but no one can afford rent. No one can afford food, my guy. You're giving the military $150 billion, and you're trying to distract us by talking about, well, the border's more secure, and the enemy is brown people. It's not me. As like he's a giant fucking circle of a dude drowning in billions of dollars while families starve. It does fund the shit out of border security. The degree to whether or not any of that's going to be ethical or commit human rights violations, that's a different discussion. Oh my God, they're into it right now. They have so many of these put out.
Being here to support one of the most important pieces.
Like question, like is this AI music, or is this like some stock music asset they're using? Oh, I saw this clip. I saw that clip live. Actually, as he walked in, a bunch of people were freaking out.
Codification of our agenda.
That kid looked like she had no fucking clue what she was doing there.
To very simply make America great.
Question. I was about to ask. I was like, hey, he hasn't said anything substantive yet. He hasn't said anything that means anything.
And bring back the American dream.
We're going to turbocharge the economy. We're also going to increase the deficit by multiple trillions of dollars. We're increasing the military funding by $150 billion. We are, however, cutting food stamps and welfare and your Medicare and Medicaid. We're also deeply deregulating the private health insurance industry, which is going to likely result in increases to your health insurance costs because we think that public health care is communism. This Mamdani guy, we cannot trust him. He's not wrong. When fascists speak sometimes, you should listen, especially when they're talking about fascism. Like, that's their thing. This is their agenda. And this bill really represented it. And we cannot let them forget the section where they said that shit about making it so courts have to provide security so they can always pay their way out of court injunctions. The attempt to break down the powers. And the only reason they took it out is because the Supreme Court just ruled that federal courts can't use nationwide injunctions anyway. That just happened.
Great again. Today I signed this bill into law. Almost every major promise made in the 2024 campaign already will have become a promise kept.
Promise made, promise kept. I'm hearing him say that a lot recently. Air traffic control, man, this is conspiratorial for sure.
After many years of decline.
Okay, question. Is the color grading on this video weird as shit? What is going on? Why does it look like that? Why like the blacks in his suit are clipped?
In our air.
Well, I don't know what the fuck is going on. There's been so many plane crashes since he took office, but like that can't just be due to the executive orders he signed, right? Everyone's like, Trump has made the planes crash. There's no way. But let's hear, I didn't hear much of anything about air traffic control in the big, beautiful bill. Am I wrong?
Traffic control system. The one big, beautiful bill will modernize this decrepit relic and give America the best, most advanced air traffic control system on earth, the best by far.
But if I remember, like the amount of money that is going to this part, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the one big, beautiful bill full document. I'm not. Yeah, guess what? We're doing it. This is gonna have to happen at some point anyway. Let's see. So we're gonna go to text. We're gonna do the 522 version, which probably has already had amendments by now. We're gonna open up the PDF specifically. Air traffic control. But my question is, hey, where the hell? It can't find it. It can only find the first one? Oh, the document's probably just too long for it to find. Yeah. Okay, here's what I remember. The amount of money that was involved with air traffic control was not much compared to like everything else. Only a billy? How much? How much are they putting in? 2 billy, 3 billy, 4 billy. Okay, they are putting a fair bit into air traffic control. We can't deny that that's happening here. It's just, what is this? Maybe like $8 billion total for 5, 6, 7, a few halves put together. So it's like maybe $10 billion to air traffic control. And I thoroughly do not remember a lot of this. Then again, some of these might actually be additions since I read it last. But the 10 billion for air traffic control is nothing compared to the hundreds of billions that are going to military purposes. Like there's just, he's not saying the quiet part out loud. That's his thing. His thing is not doing that.
The big beautiful bill should be nonpartisan.
What the fuck do you mean it's nonpartisan?
You want to talk about family separation? They buried their children. For God's sake, let's pass this bill and get this done.
Say a single substantive thing.
Angel Dad Joe Abrams.
It's going to be an overdose, isn't it?
Katie in a hit and run after
hit
she
and
was
run.
struck by an illegal alien from Guatemala.
Wait.
We will end this.
A hit and run is when it's typically an accidental accident where someone just runs after. It could have been any dude that hit and run someone. Not that it was specifically a Guatemalan immigrant.
This invasion once and for all.
And this are they, so like, I'm not going to Google all of this. But even if this were one specific instance, like, that's not a reason to just be a racist. That's not a reason.
That is inundated.
Oh, I knew there was going to be a fentanyl overdose. Yeah, absolutely. Thought so. It is bad. Fentanyl is bad. But the degree to which China is manufacturing the chemicals and then the distribution network and maybe harm reduction is the solution. That's my opinion. But this is like fascism 101. You use propaganda to construct an enemy in the form of someone else, and that rallies and unites people to a kind of bloodlust, where once you have their heads hot with rage and hatred against this other group, no matter the reality of whether or not they actually did anything, that is how you generate more nationalism, more patriotism. The 1945 people did this. I'm not sure if I can say that very easily in a YouTube video right now without getting in trouble. They did this. The Nazis did this in Nazi Germany. They did this. I'm not gonna play the avoiding words game. American firefighters. And here's the thing. I'm filming this right now. I'm sure they're just going to keep pumping these out, man. They're going to milk this dry.
Going to impact the lives of working families all throughout the United States.
I'm going to start doing these faster.
Seniors with tax breaks on Social Security, as well as our hardworking firefighters throughout the United States that are putting excess overtime.
President Trump's plan on the SALT reduction will provide immediate assistance in relief to our members, preventing them from being forced out of the communities that we live in, take pride in, and we serve in moments of crisis.
President Trump's plan to stop taxing overtime will be a great benefit to our firefighters, where they can keep more money that they've actually earned.
President Trump has offered.
Aren't the firefighters going to die harder if climate change isn't addressed? Because our fires are getting more common and more severe out of season. The firefighting thing is its own thing. Like the fact that we don't steward our forests the way that indigenous people in North America did before we got here. Instead, we keep building and keep building and keep building, and then we whine when our shit burns down, when that's how it's been for the past 1,000 years. But it's not just that. It's that human activity is sparking more wildfires, and because of our seasons and the irregularities, we're having more intense fires more often, wildfires.
Up to $8,000 in tax credit for childcare and in-home service, easing the burden on working firefighters.
President Trump would like to give us
He didn't lie. There was a tax credit for more childcare. I believe it was in-home childcare.
$4,000 tax break. That's huge for a lot of our citizens, our seniors, and our firefighters.
$4,000. Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing. The talking about the tax break, talking about the addition to the standard deduction, extending it a little bit, I think to be like 1,000 more or something, or a few thousand more. Like, what does all of this matter when by completely deregulating the economy and putting all the power into the hands of a few extremely wealthy people who have never met any of us and who were never elected to any position, those people will just completely take away any benefits these supposed tax breaks are going to give us. When the options are provide a tax break to solve a problem, or just allocate taxes to maybe not a $150 billion increase to the military budget, one of those tends to be more effective, and it's just correctly using the money in the fucking first place. Okay, now they're doing the nostalgia baiting. Classic. Super classic. Ooh, they're doing a good job with the 480p, the kind of scan lines, blurry look, the grading on the voice. Color grading here too. That looks pretty. They could have run that through an actual VHS player or something to make it look cooler, but whatever. Wow, the propaganda is out here. That's crazy. So if you don't know, I was born in 1998, so I'm a little late for this actually, but I remember ads like this on TV, which are, now that's what I call pop rock or whatever. Were like these compilation tapes and CDs and that you could order online. And all the current young voters, from millennials to the Gen Z men that the right has so captured, they saw this shit. Sometimes the propaganda is shit. Sometimes it's strong. And maybe it's just that I understand what it's getting at.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this looks old. Is this an old one? What? What is this?
Prove it.
I'm going at lunch. I can't wait.
November 4th vote today. Oh, it's a meme. It's a meme. Members who vote yes on the one big...
And my vote is for American Idol. And you know what I'm doing at lunch today? Updating my Facebook profile. You guys on Facebook? Didn't think so. Besides, one vote means diddly squat.
What the hell did that even say?
You can't talk that smack and not get knocked.
The American people don't agree with half the fucking policies in this.
There's all kinds of constitution.
How is this? So this is an old... What is the origin of this? I don't know if this is like a rehash of an old government ad or something. Oh, so this, I'm glad I opened this. It keeps saying shit like this, that the bill is going to save American families on average $10,000 more per year. Here's what they did. They took all of the hard numbers. I'm gonna go full face so you can see this. They took all the hard numbers for like, well, we added this deduction and that deduction and this deduction and we did this and we are thinking that if we deregulate healthcare, it should do this. They're taking all their raw numbers. One, this number's totally fucking contrived is what I'm trying to say. But two, they're taking all the supposed things that are going to be saving people money. And one, it's like, I keep saying one, but they're taking all these things that they said they're going to do in the bill, which are in the bill. And they're saying, okay, it could be a maximum if you happen to have 2.35 kids and a diesel car and you have in-home care and your employer provides healthcare on site, and like they're crunching the numbers to pretend like the perfect person who benefits from every single policy at the same time. They're like, okay, that person is going to save $10,000 a year. But they're doing that in a vacuum, as if their beloved free market doesn't fucking exist. The one that they're like obsessed with, the free market that they would literally die for. They're doing it as if that free market does not exist, and it's going to change and adapt. The wealthy people are going to ask for more wealth and fight for more wealth. And so when they say this is going to save us $10,000 a year, it might save us $10,000 a year. I don't even know who the fuck is going to save $10,000 a year specifically as an average person, middle-class family. But even if it does, the other changes to the economy because of these ridiculous policies are just going to eat up whatever money you supposedly saved in the front. It's the classic game. All right, okay, last one, and then we're gonna look at a couple of the live streams and just I'll wrap up then. So what is this? Spin to win. Okay, so that's the kind of game show vibe, right? Is this in reference to a specific game show? Again, I don't watch television. More reference, dude. You see how they're leaning in to like the 2 or 3 truly middle class-ish policies. Like, again, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. How about you just pay service workers a living fucking wage? And we all know, everyone who's not an idiot knows, that if you do no tax on overtime and you start using too much overtime, the corporate at your job is just going to start limiting overtime. They're just going to stop giving it out as much. That's going to happen, and there are no policies to fix that. Okay, aside from that, I wanted to pull up this. Oh yeah, I forgot to open it during the spin to win section. Who cares? In case I didn't show it, it looked like this. It was a crappy little animation of a lotto machine. This YouTube channel is great for a couple of things. It's great for kind of stepping aside and having a third-person perspective on what the United States has become and the degree to which it is just it's like a satire on a dystopia. It's not even like a meta-narrative on a utopia dystopia. It's like a satire of a dystopia, which is such a uniquely American thing to be. It is also good for actually catching things live. Like I saw this press secretary briefing where she just said the continuous dumb shit about, Trump securing peace by fucking bombing Iran offensively and without any Americans' personal approval. It's actually pretty great for staying up to date, but you just need to have your cringe inhibitors turned on, and you need to have them like pumped up to the max, because it's fucking weird. Some of the other shit you see, like these lo-fi beats, which like, I'm not even afraid to really play this audio because I'm completely certain it is AI generated. I am going to turn it off now just for fear that maybe these are real songs, but like, look at this. Look at this weird shit. I mean, like, look at how bad the animation is. What the fuck is going on with those fries? Look at his mouth. Why is it interpolated like that? And then obviously the point is to like, it's almost like a Cocoa Melon shit. Like it's this child. And why are his eyes? What the fuck is going on with his eyes? Look at these fries. So it's all fucked up. And and then obviously the point is, to maybe make you read some of these propaganda policies that they have on the One Big Beautiful Bill. So how about this? Let's go through one cycle of this. We're not going to be listening to the lo-fi. We are going to be questioning what the fuck is going on with those fries because they are messed up. Let's see what it's saying. It delivers historic economic relief, largest tax cut for middle and working class Americans in history. I don't know if that's objectively true. The taxes the year prior could have been raised. Secures bigger paychecks. No. Boosting the take-home pay for hardworking typical families by over $10,000 a year. How are you magically securing bigger paychecks just through the supposed tax cuts? You're not increasing that person's base income. Historic tax relief for workers with a 15% average tax cut for Americans earning $15,000 to $80,000. No, that wasn't in the fucking bill. The groups that were most affected were the ones that made like more than what? If I think it was $350,000 or somewhere around there. It was in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that were most affected by this. Made in America auto tax breaks. There was here's what's really weird. I saw some of these earlier while I was prepping for this video. Some of these are they're referencing policies from the bill, but they're not using the same language as the bill. which I find really interesting. Standard deduction, yes, that's the main thing. Like the one main thing that seems really truthful that I remember well, that bullshit about $10,000 a year of saving, shut the fuck up. It does increase the standard deduction. I wish it would say how many thousands it was. I could have sworn it was like 1,000, or was it that 4,000 they said? You know what? Let's do this again. Let's verify, and then I will wrap this up momentarily. I gotta remind myself to wrap this up at some point. Let's freaking take a look at this. This is just gonna be okay. So I gotta go to standard deduction. Okay, it's gonna take it like a few seconds to search through that page, but let's keep reading this. More the hard-earned money. A vote against the bill is a vote to raise taxes on hardworking Americans. Jesus Christ. Puts Main Street over Wall Street. Double small business expensing, helping local businesses hire more workers, permanently renews and strengthens opportunity zones. Opportunity zones are super interesting. They're like rural development zones that you want to encourage people to develop in. Made in America manufacturing. It does by defining what made in America is. It was pretty interesting, that section. Design with families in mind. There is a child tax credit. It makes it permanent, but like not literally permanent, if I remember. Just like until the next cycle, or like 2036 or something. Yep, savings account for newborns, Trump accounts, all this stuff. Investing in rural America. Fiscal sanity. Okay, so that's one of the craziest ones I wanted to see. Let's double check this standard deduction stuff. Oh yeah, it was only $1,500. I did the math on this. I forgot. So the increase of the standard deduction is only $1,500 fucking dollars, which is nothing, because the second you deregulate the private health insurance companies, they're just going to instantly eat up that money and health costs for you in the year. It won't matter. You're just moving numbers around. I remember doing the math where I was just like, oh, you know, if you assume that every single of the 330 million Americans files taxes, which they don't, if you assume the number of taxpayers and that $1,500, I think like a third or half of that savings is eaten up just by increasing the military budget. So it doesn't fucking matter. You ate it up. But then there's this shit. Like, what does it say? Slashes the deficit by $2 trillion. Let's just scroll to the bottom of this document together. Unless they've updated it because they realized that having it at the last page was insane. No, it's still fucking there. It's right there. It's right. I mean, it's right there. It's like, that's not a typo. That's a real number. Let's read this. Subtitle D. This is the like second to last page of the actual document. It was insane that it's the last page. It kind of has to be if I remember based on formatting. Increase in debt limit. Modification of limitation on the public debt. The limitation under Section 3101B of Title 31, the United States Code, as most recently increased by Section 401B of Public Law, is increased by $4 trillion. Why the fuck would a fiscally savvy leader feel the need to increase the national debt all the way up to a limit, higher limit, by $4 trillion. Sorry, it's such a big number that my brain even fucking get it. $4 trillion increase to the debt ceiling. Why would you need that if you don't intend to use it, Mr. Businessman? What the fuck do you mean you're slashing the deficit by $2 trillion while asking for a $4 trillion increase to the ceiling? Just let me remind you that $4 trillion is 4,000 billions. What is that? Is that 40,000 millions? 400? That's too much. That is $4,000 billion. $4,000 billion. $4 trillion increase to the debt limit ceiling. It's insane. All of this is insane. The propaganda is insane. The White House YouTube channel is some of the most dystopian and funny shit you've ever fucking seen. And I thought I would just go insane about that for 40 minutes real quick with you. If you like this video, be sure to like it. Get subscribed if you'd like to see more of my content. And continue to the best of your ability, saying the quiet part out loud. Because the people in power will not do it for you. They will instead make Koch and Prager University sponsored videos with AI to convince you that things are okay while they attempt to throw the world into war. Bye.